We've got something pretty big for the future of Madden that a lot of people have been asking for years now, and also there's some other stuff I want to talk about as it pertains to the exclusive simulation license. Now, if you are new to the channel and you never want to miss out on any of the important updates surrounding Madden or college football, make sure to subscribe and turn the bell icon on. That way you never miss any of these important videos when they go live. You know, more than half of you that watch the videos aren't subscribed, so you could be missing out on some pretty big info when it drops. So a couple of days ago, EA had their earnings call, which all of these big companies do. Yeah, I think maybe every quarter they do this where they go over kind of some of their future plans. They also talk about the state of the company, you know, how things are selling, how the product's moving and things like that. And honestly, right now, EA is kind of in a weird position these last few months because outside of College Football 25, they've seen things kind of underperform. Madden underperformed this year. EA Sports FC, or as it used to be known, FIFA, really underperformed this year. I think even college football outsold FIFA, which, you know, if you would have said that a year ago, that would have sounded crazy because FIFA or EA FC now is just such a massive game. It's a worldwide game. It's always like the best seller, you know, for any EA Sports title every single year. So seeing how these two games kind of underperformed a lot this year, and recently EA's stock plummeted as well, and I think the underperformance of EAFC had a lot to do with that. When those type of things happen, companies usually want to make some big changes going forward, which could be good for us as the gamer, as the consumer, meaning maybe putting some more life back into some of these games. Now, College Football 25 has been a lot of fun, but, you know, Madden obviously still is kind of missing something for a lot of people. I'm not really too sure about EAFC because I don't play that game, but it seems like that's kind of in a similar boat to Madden where people feel like it's gotten stale over the years. Kind of similar things going on with NBA 2K, and then we see, you know, the same thing happen with MLB The Show, and now this year MLB The Show is kind of putting some things back into the game that people want, trying to make things exciting again. So a lot of these sports games are kind of going through similar stuff right now, but one thing is for sure, EA is definitely looking to not only make some changes, but also they're always looking to find more people to play their product. That's why they brought college football back, because once they knew that they could pay the players and get real players in the game, they knew how big the market was. They said we could reach a lot of people by putting this back into the market. And we've heard them talking about other things throughout the years, maybe jumping back more into the arcade market with some games that have, you know, kind of been missing for a while. But with their earnings call the other day, we found out something kind of pretty big. But before we get into that, I do want to talk about the NFL license, because I also find it very interesting that there has been no extension of that license. Now, EA and the NFL have extended this license multiple times since it went into effect in 2005, and by now, they would have long extended it. We're talking months and months ago, they would have extended this license. Every other time it came up for renewal, by this time, they would have renewed it already because it's set to expire next year. So the fact that they still have not extended it yet, and many people thought that they would officially extend it in December because it would mark, I think, the 20th anniversary since they first went exclusive. The fact that they still haven't done that, and we're, you know, almost halfway through February, and they still have not talked about any type of extension, that's a little odd. That means that there really could be the potential of the license opening up in a year or two, because we already know the NFL has been considering it. We already know that it's been said that this is kind of maybe the closest it's been to EA losing it, and hearing that other companies like maybe a 2K are potentially interested in jumping back in. So the fact that we haven't heard anything yet, I do want to just say that doesn't mean anything completely, because a few months ago we did hear that it sounded like they were making progress and that an announcement would happen soon, but that was 3 months ago, and that announcement still has not come. So just something I thought was interesting, and something to mention, that, hey, the fact that it still hasn't been announced yet means, you know, there might be a chance that that license does get opened up again. I know a lot of people are holding out for that. I wouldn't get too excited for it, just because, I mean, people have gotten excited in the past only to get let down, but I just do think it's worth noting that we still haven't heard nothing yet, which is pretty unusual for how they've done business for the last 20 years. Now, we're going to get into the potential big thing that is coming for the Madden franchise soon, but really quickly, I do want to shout out today's video sponsor, Underdog. If you like sports and you like winning money, then you've got to be on Underdog playing their pick'em game. Basically, all you have to do is pick higher or lower on player stats, and if you hit, you can win some big money. And with the big game coming up this Sunday, you definitely don't want to miss out on Underdog. First up, they're going to give you a free play of Travis Kelce, where all he has to do is get 1 yard. That means if he catches a pass for 1 yard, that's it, you win. It's a free play for new users. But they're also offering another special called No Sweat Sunday Entry for all users. This means that everyone will either cash in on the big game entry or get their money back in bonus credits. So this is just a free play that you can't lose no matter what. And if you use my code RAY, R-A-Y, they'll also give you up to $1,000 in bonus cash at sign up, and you just simply can't beat that. Now, on EA's earnings call the other day, they revealed something that people have kind of been waiting for a while here, and we're going to look at the article on Insider Gaming, and what they had to say was EA recently stated that franchises like Madden and FC might find real energy on a platform like the Nintendo Switch 2. According to a report by IGN, EA CEO Andrew Wilson was asked whether the Nintendo Switch 2 is a platform that they are focusing on during a recent earnings call. Wilson replied that a new console arriving in the marketplace is a benefit for them as it allows them to acquire new players. Wilson added that EA's franchises have typically performed well on Nintendo's platforms. The EA CEO then discussed some of their most popular franchises, EAFC and Madden, stating that products like those could find real energy on the Nintendo Switch 2 as they have done in the past. Wilson also provided an example with The Sims and the My Sims Cozy Bundle, explaining how it performed better than expectations, with 50% of all players new to EA. EA revealed nothing is in our models at this juncture. However, they expect that anytime a great new console hits the market, it will allow them to reach new players and communities, so they need an IP to benefit from that. EA Sports FC 24 is already available for purchase on the Nintendo Switch, and the next installments of the franchise should arrive on the Switch 2. The fascinating addition would be Madden, as no games from that franchise have made it to Nintendo's prized console. Also, it will be interesting to see if the platform can breathe new life into these franchises as EA FC is struggling. Now, the Nintendo Switch is a pretty big console, and Nintendo in general, while they are very different from the Sony and Microsoft consoles, Nintendo is always going to be one of the biggest players out there. They're going to do things a little bit differently, but in the past, Madden has performed really well on consoles like the Wii, for example, or the Nintendo GameCube, even though they were not maybe as good of versions on those consoles as they were on the Sony and Microsoft ones. They were kind of a little more dialed back in a way, but still they performed very well. People that play Nintendo consoles aren't necessarily trying to get the exact same experience as somebody playing an Xbox or a PlayStation, so that's fine. It was really weird that they never put this on the Nintendo Switch. They've basically just been Xbox, PlayStation, and PC for, the last 7, 8, 9, however many years it's been, which has been weird. And a lot of people on the Nintendo Switch have been asking for this game year after year after year because they don't have a football game to play on the Switch. Now with the Switch 2 being announced, and we're going to find out a lot more about that pretty soon, there's a lot of hype going into the Nintendo Switch 2 after how well the original Switch performed, and I think EA is realizing with Madden being a little stale, also with Madden and FC underperforming, I think they're realizing that this is a big opportunity for them to kind of hit things back in the right direction, right? Even if Madden and FC continue, to get less than favorable reviews on the Xbox and PlayStation, if they put it on the Nintendo Switch 2, there's going to be a lot of excitement about that from a big player base that they just don't have access to right now because they've refused to put it on the original Switch. So even if their other consoles are underperforming, they're going to bring in a lot of new players via the Switch, and they'll likely have a much different outlook on the game simply because they have not had a new one in so long. So it does sound like with the Nintendo Switch 2 on the way that we could expect Madden to finally be on that console, and it may even wind up being a release title for it. We'll have to see, but I think for Switch players, it's pretty exciting because they've been asking for this for so long. And I'm just kind of curious to see if there's still excitement for this, if the reception's going to be good, or if they've kind of just grown tired of waiting for it and now they don't care that much. I mean, it says that for these other games that they have had 50% of all players new to EA from going on the Switch. So seeing that with other titles, I think it just makes sense to put their other sports titles that aren't there. And hey, maybe we even get college football on the Switch too, because right now college football is performing better than any other sports game out there. So if that trend continues over the next couple of years, they'll probably put that on the Switch as well. I don't see why they would miss out on even more new players, because at the end of the day, no matter how EA does, stock up, stock down, sales up, sales down, reviews good, reviews bad, the number one thing they care about is reaching more players, getting new players, because the more people you reach, the more money you make. And if they want to reach new players, that's really the route they have to go now. I mean, they're kind of tapped out on Xbox, PlayStation, and PC in terms of, like, it's there for the people that want it. The sales go up some years, the sales go down some years, but they're not really reaching a whole lot of new people in those areas, I guess you could say. Whereas if you go to the Switch, you're going to be reaching a ton of new people, or people that you haven't reached in like a decade because you haven't been on Nintendo. So it just kind of seems like a no-brainer that it's going to finally be happening pretty soon. And I'm thinking Switch players will be pretty excited for this, but let me know what you think below. And if you want to know about another big change that is coming to the future of Madden and college football games, make sure to check out this important video right here on the screen.